go.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us. I think people will keep coming in, but I wanted to introduce the president of Shidaizumi in Shizuoka, Mochizuki-san. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And I have had the chance to visit his brewery. It's absolutely gorgeous, right on the water, right underneath Mount Fuji. So he's going to show us a little bit around the brewery today and show us some of the beautiful sunny day, which it's
うん
always beautiful sunny day in Shizuoka. And then we can talk a little bit about some of the things that make their sake unique or different than other sakes. And if you have questions, just put them in the chat, and I will ask them, or Ayumi-san will ask them, and we'll go from there. But kind of a fun opportunity. And as I say, we've already had one cup. We had the soccer cup, the Fujieda Cup on the first day. Today we have the Nine Cup, and then tomorrow is the Yaizu.
Mm.
Very good. Do you want to start by just telling us a little bit about the history of your brewery?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
mm.
Before that, let me introduce a little bit.
Oh,
Let me
please,
introduce
yes, please,
myself a
please.
little bit. Actually, hi everyone. I am actually a Ayumi. My name is Ayumi, and I am the one who introduced Shidaizumi to Paul at the first place. And I am exporter, sake exporter, and then I'm not translator, like a professional translator. I'm not. So please excuse my broken English a little bit, but I try to do my best to translate what he said because he can speak like Shidaizumi-san. He can speak English a little bit. Yes, but it's going to be more comfortable for him to speak Japanese. So let me translate from what he said.
Thank you. Um, so if you could just ask him to tell us a little bit about the history of the brewery and why his brewery is special.
Okay. じゃあ、蔵の説明と試食をお願いします。
はい。蔵の方はですね、だいたい140年前に設立されまして、で、なぜここにですね、蔵をですね、始めたかというと、ここで非常にいいお水が取れるから、それでここにですね、蔵を、始めました。
So the brewery founded since 1882, which was 143 years ago. And then the first generation uh, decided to build the brewery here in the Shizuoka was because the water was absolutely amazing.
うんあの、我々の蔵のお水は軟水で、それによって非常にですね、お酒が滑らかなお酒ができます。
So the hardness of water is especially like actually very soft water, even though compared with other area in Japan, still actually this is the best in the softest water. And then that soft water makes the sake very mellow, like soft, tender texture.
うんまあ、で、大体、主にですね、やや辛口のお酒を作っておりまして、非常に、食事と一緒にですね、飲んで美味しいお酒、そういうのをね、目指しております。
So speciality of this brewery is to make the sake drier side because they are aiming the food pairing sake, not just like aromatic, too aromatic or like juicy, but also like make it to pair very best environment with food situation?
うん今ですね、酒造りがですね、10月から今年は始まりまして、今ですね、すごく頑張っていい酒を作ろうとしています。今少しずつですね、お酒がですね、絞れてきたところです。
So the brewing year starts October. So that means that the brewing process has just begun 2 months ago, and then now it's the new fresh sake is getting ready.
こんなもんでいいですか？もう少し伸ばした方がいいですか？
大丈夫ですね。
大丈夫です。
So yes, just this is just a briefing. So
うん。
do you have any questions so far, or maybe we can go on the tour?
うん。
Yeah, I think so. Wasn't he show us some of the rice washing and the kind of center area?
Sure.
Right
うん。
outside. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So じゃあちょっと移動してみ
はい、
て、
わかりました。どうしましょう。川行ってみ
そのまま、
ます？
あ、
いい
川、
いい川
川の
いい。
方に、はい、時間かかっちゃいそう
はい、
なの
OK。
で、最後
ちょっと、
の方に時間がある。
はい。じゃあ、千枚がですね、今ちょっと、千枚まだやってます。
Oh, so
はい。
actually the first process is we have to wash the rice. And then now the kurabito, like sake people are still washing a rice right now. We are so lucky to see it. So this is a washing rice area. It's so exciting.
And
And
so
I can
you can see this is sort of like a little like kiddie pool where the water is just a couple of inches deep and there's just all this free flowing water from the river, which is right next to his brewery.
so the can you see the green bucket that the guy was holding up? Actually, there he was pulling the rice into the washing machine, and then this is very strict moment. Like because the tiny rice needs to have a moisture in it, but the head of a brewery is what having a stopwatch, and then so now you have to put it out. Now you have to soak in, and then like 2, 1 second now, like that.
うん。
Did you understand it? Maybe Paul can help.
Yeah, the timing because the rice is highly polished, it will absorb water very quickly. And so we're being very careful not to let it soak too long so that it doesn't absorb too much water. And so you see him checking there, and he's writing down the times and the soaking times and how long it takes. So part of that is by experience, we're trying to know how long things take, but also every harvest is different. And so we're checking constantly to see what absorption rates are looking like for each batch.
Probably you can see the note and we like the talking ratio here.
So Andrew had a question. One question is, do you offer any namazake or any shiburatate in Japan?
Yes. あ、裕次郎さん、
はい。
生酒とか絞
はい。
りたても、
はい。
発売してますかっていう質問がファンか
えー
らあります。
すみません。生酒を発売してるか？
生酒とか絞り
はい。
たても発売してます。
発売してます。発売してます。
Yes.
はい。
Oh, wonderful. Well, that's good news.
うん。
And then what rice are we using today?
今日はどの
今日何
酒米？
洗ってます？や、山田精米60です。
今日はtoday it's a 山田錦Semabuai is 60%.
Okay. So we're making Junmai Ginjo today.
Yes.
Yes. And is the Yamada Nishiki, is it from Shizuoka or
from
from
Hyogo。
Hyogo?
兵庫。
Okay.
うん。
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Yamada Nishiki is considered sort of the king of sake rices,
あ、
and
はい。
the sake or the ones grown in Hyogo are considered some of the best.
裕次郎
Um,
さん。
But Shidaizumi also uses locally grown Yamada Nishiki in their cups. So maybe we get to try that tomorrow.
うん。
麹の方行きましょうか。
はい、わかりました。ちょっと待ってください。
So now we are taking you guys to Koji area, like Koji production area.
Yes, just wait a moment.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
Take your time.
Actually, everyone might know yesterday I mean, like the UNESCO added Japanese sake brewing process as a like heritage things. So we are so happy to this moment. And
Yeah,
then Koji production is very mysterious and very historical, complicated process. So
so
this is a bank room. Yes.
go ahead, Naomi-san.
Oh, please, please.
I was just
This
going
is
to describe that these are brewing tanks and aging tanks. Um, and we had a question from Joel when Mochizuki-san comes back. I wanted to ask about the Shizuoka yeast. And other breweries in Shizuoka also use these very specific yeasts to Shizuoka. And I would love to know a little bit more about those yeasts. And are they special because of the soft water or because of a profile they're looking for? Why are they so specific to Shizuoka?
okay. Now we are in the Koji production room. Actually, even though when you come to Japan, this room is very forbidden to enter because of the very clean room. So usually, sake brewery doesn't want anybody to enter this room. And now we are just in front of the koji rice. Actually, that rice is koji rice.
And you can see maybe that it looks almost like it has well, it has a mold on it, right? It's got this white mold on it. It almost looks like a sort of a puffed rice.
うん。
You can see that it's harder to see the individual grains.
裕次郎さん、ちょっ
はい。
と麹米にカメラを近づけてもらってもいいですか？
はい、OK。ちょっと待ってくださいね。
The other thing I want you to see about this brewery
見
is
えます。
that everything, you don't see any machines here, right? Every single thing in their koji room is done by hand. If they want to make a box colder, then they just put a piece of wood underneath in order to get some more air underneath it. You can see there's not machines that are mixing the koji. Every single thing in this brewery is done by hand.
And then to um to make to raise koji safely, the temperature of this room is about 100. So hot. Like it's like it's 38 degree in Japan. But it's like more like August So maybe like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then you're gonna get sweat. Very hot, even though right now. And then, do you have any question about Koji production?
Um, Mel was going to ask about the Yamada Nishiki, not necessarily about the koji, but about Yamada Nishiki, and was wondering, is the climate change affecting the harvest
う
for
ん。
Yamada Nishiki?
あ、
あ、うん。
気温とか気候がどん
はい。
どん変わってきていることは、その酒米何か関係ありますか？
山田錦のですね、まあ、お米の花が咲く時期、だいたい8月の下旬ぐらいの温度が最近非常に高いんで、お米が非常に硬くなりやすいです。
So the blossom season of Yamada Nishiki is end of August. And then that moment is crazy hot weather here in Japan. And then that's why the uh, the quality, the hardness of the rice is getting harder. So that makes the sakamai melt harder. Like it's not easy to melt the rice to the alcohol fermentation. Like it's not easy to melt.
まあ、そのためにですね、先ほどの洗米のところをですね、洗米時間を長くして、通常よりもお水をたくさんですね、まあ、たくさん、米に含ませることによって調整をしてみます。
So we already know about this fact. So that's why we adjust the time or timing of the washing rice process. So and then we can change. We can aim the same result, even though the rice gets harder. This is a craftsmanship.
We had another question about the rice. Did they?
Paul.
Yes.
So can he move out to the
Yes,
koji room?
yes. So hot.
Yeah, because the koji room is kind of sensitive area, and then I want to respect other sake people. And also he is getting sweat. Okay.
Okay.
So
Arigato.
do you guys have anybody
Yeah. So we have a
any
question
koji trip?
about their different products. Are all of their products one rice, or do they have some products that have a different koji rice and different sake rice?
What was the question again?
So for the different sakes that they make, are they all using one rice, or do they have some sakes that have a different koji rice and a different sake rice?
違う
うん
違うさ
あの、大体の場合は単一のお米で作ってるんですけど、少しの、ある種類の酒は、例えば麹米は、例えば500万石、その掛け米は、一般のお米とか、そういうような場合も中にはあります。
So like like koji rice and then the rice to ferment, right? So usually the sake rice are the same. But some of the brands are like Kojimai is Yamada Nishiki, but the rice for fermentation is like a different type of the rice, like a Yama or something. And then they just combine both of them. There is the kind of brands as well.
Yeah, at their brewery, they do both.
Yes.
And then those big bottles on right behind him, can he show those and explain? Yeah, explain what those are.
小瓶の説明をお願いします。
これはですね、トビンと呼ばれるですね、18リッターの瓶で、
This is a big bottle, like 10 times of Magnum bottles. Actually, like 100 bottles of wine bottle, like a 720 milliliter. This one, yes.
で、こちらのお酒で、大きなですね、瓶に、例えば純米大吟醸の絞りの中で、最もですね、いい部分を入れて、それを別にですね、別取りするような、そういうことをしますんで、そのために使うですね、
なんで飛瓶ってあるんでしたっけ？
なんで飛瓶が
その飛瓶取りって一番美味しいところじゃないですか。
はい。
なんでこんなでっかいやつに飛瓶取りに入れるんでしたっけ？
それはやっぱり通常ね、例えば純米大吟醸も同じタンクに入っていくんですけど、それでもやっぱり絞りのタイミングによって刻々と、まあお酒のですね、品質って変わってくるんで、その中でですね、この18リットルずつ取ることによって、それぞれの絞りのタイミングによる質の違いをですね、ために、例えばそのコンテストみたいな時は、この飛瓶ごとに利き酒をして、どの飛瓶が一番優れてるか。そんなことで、コンテストの出品賞を決めたりする。そのためにもこの18リッターの瓶を使っていきます。
しかも少ししか取れない、ゆっくり取れないから、大容量ってことですよね。
そうですね。少しから取れないんで、大容量で、そうですね。そういうことになりますね。うん、
Okay,
うん、
so Tobin is, I mean, like Tobin is not a specific word. I mean, Tobin is a general word.
うん、
Like it's like uh as I said, like a 10 times of a Magnum bottle, like which means like hundred times of 720 mil, like it's
Yeah.
wine bottles. Yes. And then the special part of the juice of
うん。
the alcohol, it's li- it's like a drops, like a little by little, and then it takes time to this Tobin bottle.
Yeah. So they're collecting, especially for the Junmai Ginjo, they're
Mhm.
collecting the first pressings in these bottles, and so it's traditional to do that, but also the glass is neutral, so it's not going to have any collect any other flavors for their super premium Daiginjo. And this particular brewery has won a lot of awards, particularly for their Junmai Ginjo. So they take a lot of care to make sure that there's no funky flavors in their sakes.
Um,
Um, we had
うん。
another question about the yeast. Ayumi-san, if you could ask about the Shizuoka yeasts
Mhm.
うん。
and what makes those special, and why do the Shizuoka breweries, including their brewery, choose to use these different yeasts than everyone else?
すごいまたマニアックな質問が来ました。
はいはい。静
静岡
岡
工
工房
房を
についてですね。
使う理由、静岡工房の特徴と、静岡、工房をなぜ使うと、より、選んでる理由みたいなところですかね。すごいですよね、皆さんね。静岡工房。
静岡工房はですね、伝統的なですね、吟醸工房で、すごくね、あのメロン、まあ、リンゴのようなカプロン酸エチルの香りと、あと
めっち
ですね、それこそバナナのような酢酸イソアミルの香りっていうのでですね、やや酢酸イソアミルの香りが、もうよく出る。そういう酵母なんで、非常にね、上品な香りが、
うん。
楽しめます。一言で言うと、そんなに派手すぎない上品な香りを得るためには、静岡酵母が最適な選択です。
お水に合うって、軟水に合う。
えっとね、まずはね、蔵元っていうのは、どういう香りを出したいかっていうことが
え
設計の一つなんで、やっぱり静岡酵母っていうのは、うちの蔵にとってベストな後期バラン
う
ス。
ん。
うん。それには静岡酵母が必須であるっていう、そういうことですね。
Okay, so Shizuoka Kobo is tends to be like not too aromatic, but also like elegant aroma. And generally Kobo, I mean yeast matters for the aroma, not flavor. So the head of the brewery decided the aroma first, and then his what do you call it? Like the what he is trying to aim is elegant aroma, not too aromatic, like a elegant mellow honeydew melon, um, and also a little bit fruitiness, but not too like obvious.
Yeah,
This
and
is
I think in my experience, because the water is so soft that if you had a really highly aromatic yeast, it would kind of push the sake out of balance because the Shizuoka sakes are so soft and so pretty that if you used yeast number nine or something, it would just taste really funny.
so now we are in front of Moromi. So you want to take a look at
しぼ。
me?
スターター。
Shibo. Oh,
うん。
starter. This is a starter.
うん。
じゃあ見
So
せて。
these little tanks are where they're building up the yeast cells and the koji cells. Once they make the koji in that room that we were in, we're going to add that in here with some starter and some rice and some yeast, and we're going to try to build that up so that we have enough cells to get a really robust fermentation.
ゆじろ
They
さん
build
も
it up with just rice, or are they feeding the yeast anything else?
Just rice. Yeah, only rice.
あ、主母ちょっと
はいはい。
動いてます。プチプチって。それちょっと見せ
主
てもら
語見せます？ちょっと待ってください
う。はい。
ね。
気をつけて。
こんな感じ。見えます？
見えます、見えます。あ、ちょっと待って、ホールドしててください。So, can you see, like the starter is kind of moving? Like,
Yeah, it's like bubbling.
yes, it's bubbling. It's so, this one is
Alive.
rice, water, yeast.
lactic acid。
That's it. 当時。ありがとうございます。
はい。
もう、あと、タ
あ
ンクです。
と、じゃあ、もろみに行きますか？
And then, oh, is he going to take us to one of the bigger tanks?
Hmm?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, that was a starter. So after that, this is the moment of the alcohol fermentation. もうちょっと近づいて。危ない。あ、ちょっと見えにくいですね。
I think we froze a little bit, but we had a question from Andrew about the yeasts. Do they keep a culture of the yeast at the brewery, or do they is there a yeast library for the yeasts, or how do they store it from batch to batch or season to season?
We have a culture, liquid culture of, I mean, like yeast
At the brewery.
at the brewery, yes.
Yeah.
But they don't create the yeast.
Right, right. These are local yeasts that the local Toji Guild has. Oh
I,
wow.
th-
Did
I
we
think
lose
he's
you?
gone.
Ayumi-san, did we lose you too?
I think so. I mean, oh,
Oh, no, there you are. Okay, good. Well, I think
oh, okay.
we just lost him.
Yes.
Sorry about that. That was actually, as far as internet connections go to Japan, that was about as good as you can get.
I'm
These guys.
I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna
Okay,
put.
thank you, thank you. Um, these guys are out in very rural Japan, and so they're not. It's not like they have great Wi-Fi connections or something like that. We'll have him if we can get him back on. We'll show he's right on the river, basically underneath Mount Fuji, and it's a windy day, so very possible that there were some sort of issues and things like that. But while we're waiting, what does everyone think of today's sake? Thumbs up. Yeah, really nice.
あ、
Good.
見えますか？ Can you
Hi.
hear me?
見えます。
Okay, I was worried you fell into the tank.
あ、いや、またフリーズしてます。あ、見えます。
Oh, there we go. Okay, you're back.
Yes. 多分もうその部屋がダメなのかもしれないですね。じ
Excellent.
ゃあ、
Everybody is loving
外行きましょ
today's
う、外。
sake. So,
外。外に、外。外に行きましょう。ちょっと待って。外。裕次郎さん、あの、蔵から外に出てください。蔵から外に。
oh no, we lost him.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to him.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's funny, Joel. I totally agree. Yeah, I think it's better if he maybe he goes back out to the office and we can keep chatting once he gets back out to the office. Um, yeah, if you want to, you can open up tomorrow's. Tomorrow's is the same brewery, and I wanted you guys to be able to do that and
Mm.
kind of see them kind of side by side and get their style. That's one of the fun things about the calendar this year is I wanted to I wanted you to be able to try the same style from different breweries and also different sakes from the same brewery, so you can try to understand what is a house style versus what is the category style. And so, now having tried two from the same brewery, I think you can really see that their house style is dry and crisp with really pretty aroma. And as he said, some of you may have joined a little bit later, but he was just sort of talking about why are his sakes dry, and he says, I want them to always pair with food.
Mm.
And if I make them sweet, then maybe the pairing doesn't quite work. But if I'm making a dry sake, then I know that the pairings will work. So that's his goal.
For
So,
what it's worth, go ahead.
Go
sorry.
ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, well, I opened the next day's sake, and I'm really glad I did because it's similar. Like you can taste the softness, like everything's very similar, but it's a very different flavor. Even though like almost everything is the same except the rice, it's really amazing how like this is. I don't want to say it's less dry, but there's just much more fruitiness and aroma from the Yamada Nishiki than the local rice. It's a very different character.
Yeah, I think I think it's interesting. For me, Goyakuman Goku, which is the rice for today's sake, is oftentimes not my favorite rice
Mm.
because the texture to me is a little bit cottony, and I think it oftentimes the even the aroma tends to kind of get muted by the texture. Whereas, tomorrow's is really fun, right? And this is really, really great Yamana Nishiki that is locally grown, which is neat too. So tomorrow's sake is from the Yaizu port, which is the biggest tuna fishing port in Japan, maybe the biggest, one of the biggest in the world. And so that sake kind of celebrates the tuna fishermen and the local rice. So it's a pretty special sake. Good. Yeah, Mark notes that the texture is noticeably different, and I totally agree. They're very, very different. I think the yeast is the same. Um, I put it in here. Well,
Yeah,
um,
new five.
yeah, they're all new five. Yeah. So if you guys have ever had wakatake, like Daiginjo or Wakatake Junmai Ginjo Demon Slayer was a super popular sake about 15 years ago. Still pretty popular. That also is from Shizuoka, also uses New 5. So it might be fun. If you really like these, that might be one to compare them to as well. Um, I was also I put a note in I think tomorrow, but I'll give it to you live. So these are Nyan cup. Nyan is what the sound a cat makes. And so I asked, why cats? And he says, well, I love cats, but also one cup, which is the original one cup from Ozeki, was invented for the 64 Olympics. And one is also the same sound that a dog makes. So it's a one cup or one cup. And he wanted to create something that was different, that was better. So he created the cat cup. Um, and a lot of times, he's back. Okay, we're gonna interrupt this story to spotlight this because this is really neat. So this is the river right next to the brewery. And it's a little bit of a windy day, and he's got some of the brewing equipment out there drying. And now we're frozen again. Oh, then we're
あ、
back. Then we're back. So there's the river, um, right
一
next
郎
to
さん、
the brewery.
もし、蔵の方に一旦蔵を見せてください。そこから。蔵
あ、
そのま
これ、
ま回転して、蔵も見せてください、そこから。
はい、ちょっと待ってください。
あ、いいですよ、動いて。あ、そうそう。
So there's the brewery. He kind of climbed up the hill right next to us. There's the brewery. The brown building on the left is sort of the tasting room, and then on the right, that white building there is the actual brewery.
で、then he just climb up a little bit. で、もう、ゆうじろうさんも、そうそう、いいですね、いいですね。
And
So
then
this
go ahead, Yayumi-san.
Oh, okay. So Shizuoka Prefecture is actually we call it rich prefecture, not because of about many things. It's like the Shizuoka is blessed by the great nature. So they have beautiful, always sunny days. The river is beautiful. The water is softest water, and then they have like a great fruits everywhere. And then actually the location is in front of the ocean, like Pacific Ocean, and then they have a great fresh seafood. So the Shizuoka prefecture has everything, and it's so beautiful river. So this
Yeah,
is the
you
location
you can
of the
see
Shidaizumi.
this hillside is just like it's super, super green. Everything is just really, really beautiful there.
で、ゆうじろうさん、さっきの
はい、
布のところ見せてもらっていいですか？何でしたっけこれ、
もし
え、
もし。
もしもし、麹の、布でしたっけ？この干してある布。もしもし
もしもし、聞こえます？
聞こえますよ。
聞
これ、
こえます、聞こえます。はいはい。さっきの。
これ、この
もし
布
もし。
もします。布は何の布でしたっけ？
聞こえます？
はい。布は何でしたっけ？
布はですね、麹のところ、これはね、今、こっちの布がですね、麹のところで使う布ですね。で、こ
So,
ちらはね、こっちは蒸すときに使う布です。
so these textile are the for koji production or like when steamed rice, they just wrap it around. So they are using it like the hanging the clothes on the tree like this every day. So isn't it so beautiful? Okay, I think
Maybe less than.
maybe
Naomi-san, can you ask him, do his daughters work in the brewery or are
No,
they?
あ、
he said no.
No?
Not yet. Maybe not yet.
うん。
He has two daughters.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul, do you want him to go back to the office?
Yeah, I think the office is good.
じゃあ、裕次郎さん、
はい、今
Wi-Fi
戻ってます。
が
はい。
つながりやすいところに。
ちょっとすいません、コネクションが悪くて。
いえいえいえ。酒人の、蔵人の人にもよろしくお伝えくださいね。
はい、ありがとうございます。今、戻りました。
はい。
And he can show us the tasting room, maybe?
じゃあ、そうですね。
うん
普通にテイスティングルームっていうのが、この、
And then have him show us the fridge with anything that's fresh in the fridge.
冷蔵庫を見せてくださいって。
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
Oh, ran by the
そ
fridge.
そっちじゃない。冷蔵庫です。
冷蔵庫あれですよ。冷蔵庫コネクションが悪いですよ。
そっちの冷蔵庫じゃないですよ。
あっちの冷蔵庫ね。
そうそうそうそう。そうそうそう。
100円の資産をお待たせしました。
はいはい。
うん。
こんな感じ。
So how many total sakes does he make?
Today, you
全部
mean
で、
Yeah, how many? No, all year round. How many total sake different styles does he make?
何銘柄ぐらい、ここにだけじゃなくて、全部で何銘柄ぐらいあるんですか？
だいたい20銘柄ぐらいありますね。
About 20 brands
うん
all year round. So tomorrow is going to be this brewery, like day 5. You mean tomorrow is going to be day 6?
もう、
Yes, tomorrow is today.
Okay. What are you
For you.
for us? I mean, like, okay, today is 6. So day 6 will be Shidaizumi Brewery for
Yeah,
you
it'll
guys.
be Yaizu Cup.
Guys cup.
So does he want to tell us a little bit about the Yaizu Cup? Yes, this cup. Have him tell us about this.
Okay,
あ、
sure. 焼津カップの説明をちょっとじゃあお願い
焼津、
します。
焼津はですね、まずこの焼津のカップのお米はですね、焼津で採れた山田錦をですね、100% 使用しています。
So, Yaezu is actually the name of the city in Shizuoka Prefecture. And then Yaezu has a great, I mean, the biggest port for the fishing port in Japan. It's not in Shizuoka, in Japan, like the biggest fishing port in Japan, especially like for tuna or something like that. And everyone knows about Yaezu, the name of the city. And then actually, the rice is Yamada Nishiki, cultivated in Yaezu city. That's why they use the name of the city as a Yaezu for the Nyan Cup this time.
焼津の人々はお魚と一緒に日本酒を飲んでいるんで、お魚に合う日本酒というのを意識して作ってます。
So, traditionally, the people live in the Yaezu city. They always eat, of course, the freshest seafood all the time, like historically. And then they also drink sake at the same time. So, the brewery is trying to aim the best food sake as Yaezu people can enjoy.
うん。で、実際、この猫ちゃんは、焼津の酒屋さんにいるですね、猫ちゃんがモデルで、このカップのデザインをしました。
So actually, can you see the cat in the poster?
Yes.
The white and the orange. Actually, that's the cat of one of his distributor in Yaezu. And then she is modeling as a Yaezu fishing cat, Nyan
Famous cat model.
いや、
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. The other thing that this port is famous for is not just tuna, but also shrimp. So they have lots of fresh sakura shrimp or small red shrimp that are really sweet and pair really nicely with these sakes. Yeah.
Actually, I mean, not only for tuna, not only shrimp, all the seafood. Like, yeah, it's a port. Like Japan is island, and of course, every port has a big fishing port. But even though, we have the biggest fishing port in Yaezu, like every kinds of fresh seafood.
Hi,
So,
Yumi-san.
hi.
Hi, this is Davey. How are you?
Oh, very good. How are you?
Good. How far is Ayayizu from the brewery?
Oh, it's next station, so it's gonna be like a 30 minutes or something.
Oh, good, good. So
Are you?
is it worth visiting?
Of course. I mean, like as long as you are crazy about seafood, then you should like me. I grew up in Tokyo, and then actually Shizuoka is next to Tokyo, but still, whenever I visit Shizuoka, I am trying to like get lunch or any seafood timing in Yaesu area.
Yeah,
Like,
I
even
will. I mean,
me, yes,
yeah, I'm from Malaysia, so we are surrounded by ocean and sea
Mhm.
and seafood. So yeah, that would be a great idea.
Yes, very famous. And then there is a fishing market as well.
Cool.
Hmm. Huge one. Yes.
Good. What other questions? Other people have questions? You can feel free to unmute.
How much of the softness of the sakes do you think is driven by the chemistry of the water, like the softness of the water versus technique or yeast or something else?
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, what was it again?
How much of the texture, the softness, the creaminess that you find in his sake do you think comes from the water or the water chemistry versus some other technique or something else in the brewery?
裕次郎さん。
うん、そうですね。うん、なかなか難しい質問なんですけど、あのもちろん、その、水の品質も非常に重要だし、あと、いわゆるテクニック、どういう酒造技術でですね、作るかなんですけど、まあ、最終的には、なんていうか、まずこの水がベーシックなものとしてあるんで、それをいかに使って柔らかい酒を作るかって、大体そういうような風に、我々は考えてます。ちょっと質問の答えにはなってないかもしれないですけどね。
No, わかります、わかります。Okay. I'm not like he also said, I'm not sure if I can reply to your question exactly, but actually the ratio of the population of this alcohol, I mean sake, of water is 70 or 80%. So water matters a lot. So that means the hardness of water matters a lot. But not only that, but actually, as the first generation decided to get the hardness water here, like this specific location, you cannot change. So the water comes first, and then you by using this water, like yeast or koji or rice, and then like that, all the combination makes the texture at the end. I'm not sure if we reply to your question or not, but yes, that's what we do.
And what temperature is the typical fermentation for them?
だいたい、低い温度は5度、高い温度は13度、4度と、それくらいですね。
ちょっと待ってください。
うん、
F に換算しますか
ファーレンファイトは知らん。
ら。ね、5から13度でしたっけ？
うん。いわゆる摂氏です、それが。
13度。So it's around 40 to 55.
So relatively cold. And with the very soft water with no minerals, do they ever have trouble with the fermentation getting complete, or how long does it take for the fermentation to finish?
うん、だいたいね、発酵期間は
あ、
27、8日くらいが、基本。で、ミネラルが少ないからといって、そんなにトラブルはないですよ、発酵上。
ありますもんね。
うん、まあまあ、要は、少ないとは言ってもないわけではないんで、うん、十分に発酵させることはできます。
So even though the water has a less mineral, but still there is mineral in the water. So there is no trouble in the past years. I mean, like historically, never have a trouble. And then actually the temperature, I mean, like how many days they ferment is about 28 days.
Okay. Very interesting.
55. Do you have any question? Do you guys have any question?
Well,
Like especially
I think one thing that's interesting is he puts on his website a lot of information about
right.
sakes. He
うん、
puts the yeast and the rice and the temperatures,
うん。
and a lot of other breweries are very secretive about what they do. And they don't tell anybody what they do and how they do it. Why does he want to tell everybody how he's making the sake?
That's a good question.
それはですね、
はい。
結局同じような温度経過や、そういうものを仮に他の蔵が取ったとしても、同じ酒にはならないんですよ。だからそこら辺がすごく酒造りのね、
面
ミス
白い。
テリアスなところで、で、それで、そういうのをですね、いろいろな情報公開することによって、いろんなその飲む人にお酒のイメージが伝わったらなっていうことで、そういうことでね、情報公開してます。
So first of all, even though they disclose his information to everyone, including other competitors, or we don't consider like anybody as a competitors, but someone trying to get the secret to make their brewing is in a better way. But actually, even though they use the same recipe, but they know like it's not going to be the same because of water. So not only water, but like it's not going to be the same. But even though and then second of all, even though second of all, the reason why he explode his secret, it's not secret. That's he didn't say that. So but he want everyone to imagine like, oh, like this sake must be this kind of like flavor, or like this kind of a texture, or this kind of aroma. Oh, and then this sake has this kind of histories. And then when he give a lot of information to everyone, so everyone can imagine their sake easily. That's what he wanted to do.
Mel asks, are there new styles that he's exploring, or are they doing any test batches of new things?
ああ、去年あたりから、ハッタンというお米で、ちょっとね、あまり削らないタイプのお酒を作ってます。いわゆるその低精白っていうか60%で、いわゆる吟醸とは違う方向性の酒なんですけど、逆にそういう低精白でも、すごくね、吟醸っぽさを出すような、そういうような試みっていうのは、ここ数年してます。
低精白と言いながら60%なんですか
65%、65%、いや35%。うん。
90%とかちょっと流行ってたりするじゃないですか。
90%まではいかないですけど、
まだやっ
ちょっと75、去年あたりはちょっと75%のやつをね、やって、ちょっと今までの白泉と違う、ちょっとね、甘みのある、旨みがあるタイプね、そういうふうにね、ものを使ったりしてます。
So his new challenge is so like Shizuoka sake, Shidaizumi sake is tend to be like a ginjo sake, or like a clean, crisp sake. But since last year, he just got a new sakamai, which is sake rice, which is hattan. And then yes, he try not to polish a lot, but it's gonna be like around 75 or 65%. And then even though he doesn't polish the rice a lot, still it has an elegant aroma.
Interesting.
This is a new challenge for
Yeah.
Shidai. Yes.
That's very interesting. Oh, can he tell us a little bit? I don't know if he has a bottle still, probably not, but can he tell us a little bit about the cloudy sparkling, the seedroom?
ああ、スパークリングとかね。
ありま
うん。
す今。
まずね、クラウ
もし
ディって意味だと、ちょっと待ってくださいね。
どこどこ
あ、間違えた。こんな感じで、瓶底に少し、あの、ちょっと
あ、
折りがね、絡んでる、こういう折り絡みのタイプも作ってます。
ええ
うん。
oh, this one is origami?
うん。折り絡みで、まあ、これは本当に今の季節だけなんですけど、本当にいわゆる、完全な生酒で、折り絡みで、ちょっとこんな感じで。
Yeah, this is a very seasonal sake. Only this season. I mean, this timing, like beginning of December, seasonal sake, and origami or ori is like settlement.
Sediment,
So
yeah.
yeah, settlement, and then this is the one, and then also this is a you. This one is you are talking about that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
で、こんな感じで、スパークリングも作ってますね。で、スパークリングは、
ああ、開けちゃうんだ、すごい。
こんな感じで。
It's no fair. We're not there.
こん
But
な感じで。
I want you guys to see like how the gas is very strong. This is actually secondary in bottle fermentation. We don't add any carbon gas
Yeah.
at all, but this is very strong. And then the creamy, I mean like bubble is very silky and then creamy. Can you imagine this is like only like rice, water, koji, yeast. That's it. And then they can make it like this. It's so exciting. あ、ゆうじろうさん、ありがとうご
はいはい。
ざいます。
どう
Yeah,
も。
arigato, arigato. So
あり
I
が
got
とう
to
ござい
try
ま
this
す。
at the brewery, and it's really, really fun. Um, yeah, really, really neat. And then I wanted to make a note about the red one that he showed first, the origarami. Remember that word because we're going to try an origarami later in the month. So you'll be able to try that style. And when we have these sakes with ori or a little bit of the sediment in there, that carries a little bit of umami and also a little bit more fruity flavors as well. So you'll get more flavor when you have an origami typically.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, I had a quick question about that.
Yeah.
I've never seen origami in a cup before.
うん。
So, did you do this just for the calendar or
Yeah.
cool, cool.
So these cups that were these ones from Shidaizumi, he obviously makes these in Japan, and these are distributed throughout Japan. And I think he has four different cups that he does. Maybe you get to try them all. But about half of the cups in the calendar are ones where they the sake exists in Japan, but the cup does not. And the brewery had a bottling line, and I asked them to bottle a cup for me just for the calendar. And if people like it, then I may import that cup later on. But they, they don't exist yet in the U.S. or even in Japan.
That's
That's
pretty
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
pretty
that
neat.
process pretty, like our brewery is pretty open to that, to just doing that to see how it
Well,
goes?
it totally depends because the brewery has to have their own bottling line basically to do that. And not all breweries have their own, not all breweries make cups. So, first of all, the brewery would have to make a cup and have their own bottling line to do that. Um, these ones are unique because they're printed, and the printed cups are more expensive, right? If they're just putting a paper label on it, then it's a little bit cheaper to do. So that's one thing about it. Um, and then the brewery might yeah, there we go. There's today's cup. Maybe he'll have some with us. Um, so if the brewery might also just not want to go through the effort of doing it just for me. So you got to find the right brewery that wants to play along. Yeah. There's a couple. I have a couple of stunt cups in here from. Well, you tried the sake from there we go. You tried the sake from Miyoshikiku, and he has his own bottling line, and so he has his own printer. And so here's an example of a cup that he did with his own like printing, and then he printed on the top of the cup too. So he's very open to it, and so I'll definitely be doing more from him. Um, but otherwise, it's an adventure because not all the breweries do it.
So Paul,
Yeah,
as we have a Shidaizumi here, can we talk about the ume cup, the Rasta one? Like,
sure.
yes, like you don't want to say like which day people are getting it, but like when they find a Rasta, I mean like a ume cup in the
Yeah,
future in this December, then they're gonna get excited if we
yeah.
share the history,
Let's
right?
do it. Let's do it. Is he
Yeah.
taking us there
あ
right
の
now?
あれ裕次郎さんどこに行くんですか？
はい。ラスタ、
冷蔵庫。
ラスタ取り、ラスタ取ってきます。はい。はい、ここです。
さあ、じゃあちょっと電波の
見えま
いいところ、
す？
電波のいいところに戻っていただいて、
So yeah, let's have him talk a little bit about the process of making umeshu and how is umeshu made?
はい。
うん。
いや梅の、
工程ですね。
はい。
梅酒の工程は、
まず梅から話しましょうか。
梅から話しますか。梅はですね、静岡県産のですね、梅を使っていて、隣に島田市っていうところがあるんですが、そこの梅を使っています。で、梅の品種はですね、南高梅っていうのが一番有名なんですけど、主に白加という梅を使ってます。
どう違うんですか？
どっちかっていうと、白加が本当に青い感じの梅なんですよ。で、そういう青梅をどっちかというと黄色くなるよりももっと緑のうちに、お酒につけていくんですが、この時期になってる梅を、まあ、収穫して、ほとんど次の日くらいにはもうお酒の中につけてるんですよ。だからすごくね、フレッシュさが違うっていうか、すごく梅の香りがですね、その梅酒の方に残るような、そんな感じになってます。で、使うお酒の方、はいはい、そうです。
So, actually the plum is from from the next village from the brewery. So it's going to be around 15 or 20 minutes by car, and very close, local ume, which is a plum. And then usually, like in Japan, we have like millions of umeshu, like every kinds of umeshu here. So it's kind of famous liqueur for us. But usually they use a nankobai, which is kind of a little bit red or a little bit bigger than, but they use あれ発酵梅でしたっけ？
白加が。
Shirakaga. They use a shirakaga. It's kind of like a rare ume kind of a tree, and then which is a kind of a little bit smaller size, and then green. And then generally when umeshu is made, they pick up from the ground, like very ripped ume from the ground. But actually, Shidaizumi tried to pick. Shidaizumi use the ume from the tree, like very fresh one. So that means it matters acidity. Acidity is very fresh, especially the type of the ume, like a plum, which is Shirakaga is tends to be a little bit higher acidity and then higher sweetness as well. So the sweet and sourness keeps the ume, and then after the Shidaizumi allows only to use the umes 2 days from the harvest. So there is a closest there is I mean, that ume village is very close to the brewery. So they just harvest the ume from the tree, and then they just put it in the sake within 2 days. Otherwise, they're not going to use the ume. That's a very limited production. So, I mean, can I just share my achievement? It was hard to get this production for the US market. It's very so even for Japanese people, it's so hard to get, but it was a very hard negotiation. So please enjoy the ume as well.
And one of the things you'll notice about it, because they're so fresh, is that it's super, super aromatic. And this is one where I encourage you to actually pour it into a white wine or a clear glass so you can see the color of it. Most umeshu is brown, and this one is rose colored. It's really, really beautiful color, so I encourage you to pour it into a glass, and then definitely eat the plums.
Ayumi-san,
Oh,
Hi.
yes.
can you ask why he names it Rasa Cat?
Ah,
Oh, before that, can we finish the process?
Yes,
うん、
yes, please, please.
じゃあ、裕次郎さん、
それで、
さっきの
それで、非常に新鮮な状態をお酒につけるんですが、つけるお酒はですね、やはり海流というですね、やはり地元の山田錦を、使った純米酒の方に、目をつけていきます。で、
So,
もうちょっと、どうぞ。
so when they pick up the umeshu within 2 days, they put it in the sake. The sake is their original Junmai sake, which is made by local Yamada Nishiki. This is very like a blue blood umeshu.
うん。それで、通常の酒蔵っていうのは、いわゆる常温で3ヶ月ぐらい、梅をつける場合が多いんですが、うちの梅酒の場合は、低温で約10ヶ月ぐらい、つけてます。それはですね、
低温っていうのは何度ぐらいですか？
低温っていうとね、だいたい10度ぐらいかな。10度ぐらい。
はい。
で、それは、もともと梅のエキスっていうのは、糖分とアルコールで吹き出すんですけど、まずお砂糖を加える量が非常に少ないということと、日本酒なんでアルコール度数がそんなに高くないんで、すごく梅のエキスを引き出すのに時間がかかるんで、低温でじっくり10ヶ月くらいかけて梅のエキスを抽出します。
So generally, like making umeshu, they put the ume in the alcohol, like maybe shochu or like futsushu or like, and then usually the temperature is around 77, 75 to 8 for the 3 months. Then they just ship out. But in Shidaizumi, they put the ume in the Junmai sake, Junmai sake, around 50 degree, like very low temperature, and for 10 months. So the like essential essence from ume comes out very slowly but beautiful, like elegantly, and then there's no unpleasant flavor at all. そのくらいですかね。 yes, this is about just about the our Shidaizumi umeshu, how different from other umeshu. Please enjoy. And then also the biggest difference is even though one cup has two plums in it. I mean like a two ume in it. So this is so rich. So please enjoy to eat the different ume like shirakaga ume when you find our Shidaizumi ume cup. And then also I'm gonna here, this is the one. And then I'm gonna ask the history of Rasta.
ヒ
So
ストリー、
なんでラスタって、
なんでラスタっていうかって、まあ、厳密にはちょっと違う。ラスタカラーのカップなんで、そのラスタカラーで作りたいなっていうことと、ちょっとね、梅酒なんで日本酒と違って、すごく陽気なラテンの雰囲気を出したいなと思って作りました。
全く誰にも私はそれ何回も調べてるんですけど、
はい
ラスタカラーってなんか
ラスタカラーって本当はね、黒とかが入るんですよ。
そうですよね。ちょっと
黒とか入るんで、ちょっと
ないスパニッシュってこと、スペイン系
レゲエ系の色の使い方ですよね。
Okay. So, in reply to Debbie's question, we have to share the meaning of Rasta color. Rasta means like a hint of reggae, like green, red, yellow thing, black. So the reason why they want to like pick the kind of a color is because Nihonshu or sake or like umeshu is kind of traditional Japanese like things. So we just wanted to make it fun, like more it's opposite culture, like and then the symbol of opposite culture it sounds like a little bit Rasta. So that's why they put the name on it. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think it's actually really brilliant because I think he showed you, he's also bottling just the umeshu without the plums. And so it's a really great use of the plums to put them in the cups. A lot of breweries will sell just the plums and you can buy them. But I think it's brilliant to put them in the cup. When I registered this with the TTB, I did not tell them that there's only 140 milliliters of umeshu because there's 40 milliliters of plum. But I just told them it was 180 milliliters total.
And also, I just won the negotiation to get 500 milliliter bottle of ume for the US market. So, and then you have to get in line. Please.
Yeah. Yeah. So very limited production of the 500 milliliter. I'm surprised he even puts it in Ishobin. That's crazy. Um, but um, but it's wonderful. So if people really like it, then let me know, and we'll get these 500 milliliter bottles into the U.S. We need to figure out shipping boxes and things like that to very efficiently pack them onto a pallet to get them over here. But please give me your feedback on the umeshu when we get there.
Yes, again, the color of this umeshu is totally different. It's not brown, it's like a coral pink. Yes, as Paul said, rose color. Yes, a coral pink. It's like very beautiful. And also it's so yummy.
I wanted to
Please.
ask one more question. He's got all these awards like everywhere. There's just everywhere he has awards. Is there one that he's most proud of?
一番誇りに思うこと。
ですかね。
まあ、うちのお酒っていうのは、すごくなんだろうな、ユニークというか、 非常に似た日本酒がないっていう、非常に独自なもの、独自なところにあるっていうところ、すごくオリジナリティがあるっていう、そこはね、非常にいわゆる単なるドライな酒ではなくて、ドライな中に、軽い旨味があったり、で、甘みがあったりするところや、ただただ甘いだけ酸があるっていうところじゃなくて、例えばうーんと、酸味とか苦味を表現することは、うーんと、甘みや酸、甘みや酸味を、すみません、酸味や苦味を足すことによってじゃなくて、ちょっと甘みを引かせることによって、ちょっと甘みを、なんだろうな、抑えることによって、より酸の、すごくね、ビビッドなところをね、表現したりする。すごくそのお酒の表現方法が独自のものであるっていうことは、割と、誇りに思ってます。
Okay, I try my best to translate. So, what he is proud of his brewery is there is some, but if I should pick up one of them, is the originality of uh, the way to express his sake. So, which is like usually, I mean, like typically, like they try to add like sweetness or like they add acidity. Oh, maybe this is too acidity is too high, or this is a sweetness is too high. Okay, let's add a little bit more acidity, but like generally they just add more, add, and then they try to change the flavor. But actually, what he does is like, oh, maybe this sweetness is like a little bit like make it lower, or like it's more like not to add, but not they try to make it pull it down. So it's so hard to explain. Uh, Generally, like what he said he wanted to say is like originality. Like it's not too dry, like just to not to just to aim dry sake, but also like a complexity of dry, acidity, astringency, or sweetness. This is the what he tried to aim. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Andrew, your point is really good. Is you can see inside this brewery, and if I compare it to other breweries that I've been to that have lots of technology and lots of machines, and we don't see that here. This is everything here is hands-on, and very, very much handmade. And so I think that's very much a part of what they're trying to do is to try to remove all this like lots of additive intervention, trying to push big flavors, things like that, that they're doing the opposite of that for sure. The other thing I wanted to just kind of point out is that, this brewery has been around for 142 years, and these cups are the first sake that have ever come to the US. So you all are the first people in the US to ever try these sake. So I wanted to say thank you all for being for supporting Shidaizumi and this wonderful 142-year-old brewery. So really, really
Thank you
cool.
very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
I want to say
Yeah.
something.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. And then like Shidaizumi is one of the 13 breweries in Shizuoka. Shizuoka sake is like I really love Shizuoka sake, but Shidaizumi is also like one of my best breweries. And then never like even though they are kind of popular in Japan, like it's been like 182 years, but never ever been to the US before. Like thanks to Paul, just this is just a Nyan cup, but maybe after like following years, he's gonna like bring a like bottle of Shidaizumi sake when you guys like complain to him like, oh, I need a more bottle, like a huge bottle of sake of Shidaizumi, and then please bring it then to us. If say that to Paul, then we're always ready to bring in. And then please enjoy it. It's not gonna be the same at all. So and then also I export a lot of breweries. So if you follow me on Instagram, you're gonna see more like a great sake. Please.
Ayumi-san, put your Instagram in the chat, and if you could put Shidaizumi, I think I put it in the book, but if not, put their Instagram on the in there too, because he does a really good job of posting pictures from the brewery.
じゃあ、大臣のインスタもよろしくお願いします。
Yeah,
Hi.
so that's good. That's good. I had one other question. Could you tell us a little bit about the Yamahai?
生はい。
Yeah, tell us about that sake.
実際ヤマハイはやってないんですけど、木本をやってます。木本でですね、ラジオ正宗っていうのをやってるんですけど、木本はどちらかというと、そんなに力強いですね、味がある木本というよりも、もう少しライトで飲みやすい形の木本を作ってます。まあ、それで、木本っていうのはすごく昔からのですね、伝統的なやり方なんですけど、まあ、その中でもですね、比較的今の人でも飲みやすいような感じで、すごくね、冷や酒で飲むと、すごく純米吟醸的な感じがして、で、お燗で飲むと本当木本本来の、すごく味の広がりとか、そういうのが出るような、その温度帯による、まあ酒の変化の面白さみたいな、そういうところをですね、意識した木本を作ってます。
So actually, Shidaizumi doesn't have a Yamahai, but they have a Kimoto, and yes, which called the Ragio Masamune. It's very little level. Like this one is so cute. Yes, and then Kimoto is the traditional method of a sake brewing process, and then it's not like sometimes Kimoto has a smell like a mushroom or like a baked radish, but this one is more like a caramel or a little bit like a smooth and clear, elegant. Always, yes. Maybe I mean, like we're all ready to export. Hi, Paul. Yes. I mean, like this is going to be on fire in the US because this is clean and then like a little bit earthy and savory. It pairs very well with a like a strong taste as well, like a cheese or cheesy like a pizza or like anything like that.
Yeah, I'm generally a big fan of Kimoto style
Mhm.
sakes, so maybe someday soon.
Please.
Good, good. Does anyone else have any other questions? Good. Well, of the ones that you've tried so far from the brewery, what are you all do you have a favorite? Oh, maybe I'll do a poll. Oh, I'm going to ask Mel's question while I do a poll here. Mel's question is what's his favorite of the sakes that he makes?
You mean like his sake?
Of his sakes, and then
Okay.
ask him if he has a favorite brewery that's not his.
あ、
Oh,
他の蔵で一番好きなとこ
はい。
ですか？
はい。
難しいな、それは。まあ、ベストじゃないかもしれないけど、例えば、秋田の春霞さんとか、そこら辺割と好き。あと、高知の、秋虎さんとか、文化人さんとか、あの辺割と好きです。広島の宝剣さんとか、その辺割と好き。
割と辛いお酒ですかね。
割と辛い。その辺は好きですね。まあ、で、ちょっと変わってるけど、 静岡県だと杉錦さんとかは、また違う方向の酒だけど好きですよ。
Okay. So he like maybe drier side sake. So maybe I don't even know you guys know Bunkajin
う
from
ん。
Kochi
こっち、
or Harukasumi
は
from
るかすね、あ、来た。
or Hoken from
うん。
Hiroshima.
うん。
Maybe if we try to find one of the Shizuoka brewery, Suginishiki.
杉錦。
These are his brewery that he likes.
I launched a poll, and you can tell us which one is your favorite Shidaizumi so far. That's good. That's good. I definitely encourage you all to visit the brewery. You have to let them know ahead of time. But as you can see, there's lots of things in the fridge ready to go. So you can stop by and pick some um, fresh fresh sudachi and some sake and get some tuna in town and enjoy.
あ、そのね、今言った方
うん。
言と好きな理由は似
はいはい。
てる、考え方が似てるからですか？
一つはですね、やっぱり酒だけで主張する酒ではなくて、お料理と合わせて美味しい酒っていう、それがまあ一つの要素としてありますね。まあ基本的に個人的にそういうお酒が好きだからっていうことと、あとは飲んでいて疲れない。これ
それが難しいんですよね。なんて言うんだろうね。
飲んでて
そう、
疲れない。それが、個人的に飲み手として、すごくそういうお
飲み続
酒
けられるっ
が、
てことです。
うん、2杯目が美味しいみたいな、そういうところはね、割と共通した要素だと思います。あとね、やっぱり、考え方ってすごく、時の考え方似てんじゃないかなっていう、そういうところがあります。
うん。あ、じゃあまだ喋ったことはないんですね。
何
喋ったことはないんですね。
いや、喋ったことがある人もあればない人もいる。
Ah, わかりました。So in reply to Andrew's question, yes, it's actually it's tend to be like similar idea, like pairing sake. He doesn't like a standalone sake. Always to pair sake with food. Like maybe this is like he's like a marriage guy, like not like chasing a woman. You know what I mean? So, so and I asked him like, oh, have you talked to the head of each breweries about the philosophy? And then he said, yeah, some of them we share the philosophy, and then like he thought like, oh, it no wonder like we guys are similar, but then some of them just he's just one of them.
Super neat, super neat. Well, I'm really glad to be able to share the inside of a brewery. Maybe some of you haven't traveled to Japan or haven't seen inside a brewery, so it's really special to see these very, very craft operations, very handmade, lots of care taken. So thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you very
Thank you,
much.
Thank
Shidaizumi,
you.
so much. Thank you.
ありがとうございました。Maybe
ご
you
ざい
guys
ました。
like a maybe tour, sake tour in Japan, like with Paul, and then I'm just gonna be your guide for your guide. See you soon.
Maybe we could do that. Maybe next year we'll do
Mhm.
that.
Do that. Let's make it
Tour group.
happen.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Sign me up.
Okay. So is that okay?